Knives Out, which is a sort of, I'll say at the beginning, I think it's a terrific modern day Agatha Christie style whodunit from Rian Johnson. All-star cast gathered together in this gothic-like house where the finger of suspicion following a death points everywhere and nowhere. A famous crime writer has gathered together his family for an 85th birthday, and he spectacularly capped off the evening by dying dramatically in his attic study come bedroom. It looks like an open and shut case of suicide. However, each member of the family may have some hidden. So is it a suicide, or did somebody else actually do the throat slitting? Certainly, the presence of gentleman sleuth Benoit Blanc suggests that at least one person here thinks that foul play is afoot.
Mr. Blanc, I know who you are. I read your profile in The New Yorker. I found it delightful. I just buried my 85-year-old father who committed suicide. Why are you here?
I'm here at the behest of a client.
Who?
I cannot say, but let me assure you this. My presence will be ornamental. You will find me a respectful, quiet, passive observer of the truth.
Now, you're already sold, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going for this one.
Okay, so all-star cast, Jamie Lee Curtis, Daniel Craig, as you heard, the Daniel Craig just apparently
enjoying himself.
Apparently, the first time they heard the accent, the rest of the cast went because he was like, okay, he's really committing to that accent, and he is going to do that all the way through the film. Anna de Armas, Don Johnson, Lakeith Stanfield, Michael Shannon, Toni Collette, Chris Evans. I mean, there is an Orient Express.
Everyone wants
of a cast,
to be in it,
and everyone may have a motive. I mean, it's a suicide, and there's no question that it's a suicide. But, the son whose publishing empire depends on the good favour of his father, and maybe he's fallen out of that favour. The daughter-in-law who may have her hand in the till in some way. The son-in-law who has a roving eye and a secret. All of them may be sneakily lying, except for the Anne Damas's character, who is Marta, who is the nursing carer, who we know is telling the truth because in one of the film's most brilliant setups, she is told by Daniel Craig, he said, "I hear you have a regurgitative reaction to mistruthing," which means that she can't lie because she vomits. And so it's literally a plot point that there is a character in the film who cannot lie because doing so makes her vomit. So you've got this spectacular cast, all of whom, I mean, what's interesting is the film doesn't look like it was filmed in bits. They did use a real house. I mean, it's brilliantly set designed and everything, but there was a large section in which they had that incredible ensemble cast together in the same place for a large period of time. And on the one hand, I sometimes use that thing, which is that the amount that somebody enjoys making a film is often inversely proportional to how much you enjoy watching it. Well, in this case, there's none of that. Like I was saying before with the two popes, you can see every member of the cast going, yeah, sign me up. I'm absolutely, these are my lines. I get to say these lines because, firstly, there are more laugh-out-loud, quotable one-liners in this film than in most of the year's alleged comedies. And it's not a comedy.
Oh, is it not?
No, I mean...
It must be.
Well... No, it's not. That's the interesting thing. It is a very, very funny drama. And in the same way as the Poirots that we've seen in the past, which are kind of almost like kind of variety shows, it has a lot of humour in it, but it works because at the heart of it is a murder mystery. Or is it? I mean, is there a murder mystery? The whole point
I don't know.
Well, he did. Well, I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't want to spoil the film for you. But the whole thing is, but surely it's a suicide. But no, if it was a suicide, what is Benoit Blanc doing here with the regurgitative vomiting mask?
Isn't a humorous drama with Benoit Blanc and regurgitative? That's a comedy.
Okay, the reason it's not a comedy as such is because I would say that it is first and foremost a really brilliantly constructed whodunit, and here's why. The best whodunits are films in which the answer is there, but you don't see it. Okay? The worst whodunits is a film in which a whole bunch of stuff happens, or a story, a book, in which a whole bunch of stuff happens, and then at the end, a character who no one had ever heard of before said, "Oh, but it was Jeff from down the road." You go, really?
Where did Kaiser Soze come from?
So when did that happen? It's like that thing in Murder by Death about, the whole thing about all these detectives is all nonsense. You brought some character in it turns out it's him in disguise. That person didn't really happen to the thing.
He's only just delivered the pizza.
Having seen Knives Out twice now, and I loved it the first time, second time, loved it more. Right. Because in the first 10 minutes of Knives Out, once you've seen it, you go, oh, that is so clever. That is so precision. It's like what, I know this isn't a cliche, but it's the Swiss watch thing, okay? It's the finely sprung steel trap that is put together so perfectly that the second time round, it all makes sense. And the second time round, you go, how did I not see that?
Who did the screenplay?
Rian Johnson.
Oh, it's his.
And
oh, what a genius.
And so first and foremost, it's a whodunit, okay? Beyond that, it's a whodunit with really, really funny things in it, like really funny lines. At one point, he's called, because of his southern accent, he's called CSI KFC, which I laughed about for about 5 minutes. But none of it would work if you didn't actually believe in or care about the characters. And there is a scene early on in which, which you heard there from Jamie Lee Curtis, in which she says, I would just like to remind you that my father, who committed suicide on his 85th. So Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of like the lightning rod conductor in the middle of the film, who reminds us that it's not just a comedy. It is also something else. And that's why it works. It's really well designed, really well written, really well directed, really well played. And the reason it's funny is because the jokes happen around this central rod of a really well done coiled spring metal, steel trap of a plot.
You know what this is?
Go on.
This is the film that was come out this festive season, which we're about to enter, which you can, by the sound of it,
yes,
you can say to your parents,
come see.
Shall we go to the movies?
Yes.
And your folks will go,
yes,
I will.
Yes, we shall.
And you won't sit there going, I didn't think there'd be the blancmange scene.
I know.
And all that.
No. There's no nipples of Venus in this.
Excellent.